Welcome to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy, and today we're going to tell you about Breonna Taylor.
Don't forget to smash that like button and go and check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Facebook. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. Make sure you tell your friends.
Tell your friends. It's trial season around here. Seems like the courts are hopping.
Man, there's like all kinds of stuff going on right now.
There's so much, and I cannot focus on one thing. Every time I see something else, I'm like, oh, I need to check that case. Oh, I need to check that case.
It's like, boom, guilty. Boom, guilty. Maybe.
Boom, mistrial.
Mistrial. Oh, maybe not.
What was it? Baldwin just got his charges dismissed.
Yeah.
So we know there was a conviction of Sarah Boone in that trial, but she's not done. She's already requesting a new trial.
Oh, yeah.
We figured that would.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Karen Reed has shit going on. You've got the Delphi case. Lori Vallows. There's so many high profile cases in the news. And one got lost for me, but I found it.
But, Sarah Boone one, I mean, it's just like, just take it.
No, she will never.
You're just a jackass. I mean,
she will never.
You fucking did it. And they're trying.
Intentionally.
They're trying to say new trial because, what was it, the mom?
Oh, there's a list. So, yeah,
she's
his
like
mom busted out in court.
The mom busted out in court because she had feelings.
It was the most silent outburst I've ever heard.
And I was just like, whatever. I mean,
keep in mind that I literally just watched the Darrell Brooks trial.
Yeah.
Which had me irate. But when they're reading off the verdicts and they're like, count 1 out of 70, whatever, and they say guilty, this guy yells out, rotten hell, you piece of shit. That's an outburst.
That is an outburst. For her to actually get up and try to leave the court.
She was so silent.
She was trying.
Yeah.
And everything. And then her lawyer loses his shit.
Well, they say that it's probably not. I mean, she's got a list of reasons.
Yeah, but she's been uncooperative since day one.
Well, that's how she lives her life.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
She's citing that she was denied a court-appointed lawyer and had to go get her own lawyer. So she was denied that right.
But how many of them did she fire?
Owens was her 9th.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
She didn't fire them. They quit.
They basically was like, fuck you, I'm done.
Irreconcilable differences.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Sarah.
They were like,
get your head out your ass.
I can't deal with her. She's trying to get a mistrial is what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
But that didn't work. Now, this one though, I didn't even realize that this was in court because there was so much other stuff going on. So I was really happy when I came across the Breonna Taylor case. Now, we know the story. It was huge. We've been there. But it being in court, I was like, yes, let's tell it again and tell what's going on now. Plus, it pissed me off that Sarah Boone and Karen Reed have so much coverage. Like, they're so worthy. And all these cases are interesting cases. But give them all fair coverage. I saw very little on this one. So I had to bring it back up.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of them deals where it's like it had hardly any coverage.
Yeah, you see like some news clips, like a 45-second news clip.
Yep.
And I'm like, where's the rest of it?
And you guys are going to hear the story behind it.
Yeah, we're starting at the beginning.
Yep. And this one right here, normally she tells me the story and I don't really know anything, but I had my best friend and his girlfriend, and I grew up with him from young age. And she got to telling them the story and everything. Well,
listen, there was alcohol involved.
And, and the whole thing is Amy's like, don't listen.
Earmuffs.
Don't listen. I'm like, really? You're gonna cut me out of the conversation?
Even he did when he was all into it. He was like, Darren, don't listen.
Yeah. Rob's like, don't listen, Darren. Don't listen. Close your ears.
Oh, I'm invested.
Because most of these, all the stories and everything, I have a genuine reaction. I mean, it's like she's telling me these from the first time. She tries to tell me stuff as she's researching.
If I have questions.
And most of the time I just kind of ignore it because I want to have that genuine reaction.
That's why sometimes you go, oh, this is the case.
Yeah. And I'm like,
because you don't know why I'm asking.
Because I'll get like little snippets and stuff. But this one right here, she went through the whole damn thing.
I acted it out in our kitchen. Listen.
Yeah.
I said there was alcohol involved.
Yeah.
I was worked up.
But anyway, so like I said, she'll tell the story and you guys will kind of come to your own conclusion at the end of it. We did.
Like always.
And realize probably why it didn't get much coverage.
So I'm going to tell the story to the peoples. Picture this. It's about 12:40 a.m. You're in bed, sleeping next to your girlfriend, Breonna. The only light on in the apartment is coming from your TV in the bedroom. There are blinds and blackout curtains on the window, so that's really all the light you're getting. Suddenly, you hear a loud knock on the front door, like someone's banging on your door at almost 1 a.m. You immediately think someone's breaking into your house. Or could it be Breonna's ex-boyfriend, who is allegedly a drug dealer? Either way, it's more likely than not that someone is there to do harm. So you grab your 9mm pistol, one that you legally own. You legally have the right to have. You have a permit. You have everything. You're good. And you're both yelling, "Who is it?" as you head out the bedroom door. Breonna is hot on your heels. The hallway is a straight line to the front door. And suddenly, that front door flies off the hinges like an explosion. A little light across the breezeway outside is providing a backlight, and you barely register figures. One immediately comes into the doorway. Now, you don't want to kill anybody, but you aren't about to let them hurt you. So you aim low and fire a warning shot.
And that is more than what most would do. If you have the right to shoot anybody that's, breaking into your house,
that's the time. Yeah, you have the right.
That's the time to do it. And it's like, here, if somebody's breaking into the house, sorry about you.
You're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
I know that sounds bad,
I have
but
signs all over the damn place.
100%.
That basically gives you fair warning.
Trying to tell you.
Before you come in. Basically, it's like, before you come in here, take a step back.
Think about it.
Take one knee. Pray to Jesus, because you're about to come meet him.
You're about to come face to face.
Yep.
I know that sounds bad, but it's the truth.
I mean, this is my family home.
Yes.
And I have every right to protect it.
100%.
So.
Yes, you do.
If somebody comes into my house and I don't know who they are.
Exactly.
If you don't tell me who you are.
We're not going to stop and have a conversation. Hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah, if you're not clearly stating who you are in my house in the middle of the night.
You come in my house in the middle of the night. I don't care who you are.
You come in my house and you didn't state who the fuck you was.
Right.
And why you're here.
Right. That's true.
Shit's about to happen.
It's about to happen.
Yep.
About to go down. But as soon as you shoot, immediately there are flashes. Bullets are flying back at you. You and your girlfriend fall to the floor in the hallway and you take cover. Glass breaks, and now bullets are coming from the outside wall of the apartment too, so sideways bullets. You call 911, and when you get the operator, you say, "Somebody kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend." Fucking scary situation, right? You're scared. Breonna's been shot. You have no idea what just happened, but you need to get her some help. Are they still in the apartment? Who the hell are they? And he quickly finds out it's not the ex. It's not someone breaking in. It's the cops.
Yeah. It's 7 cops in plain clothes with vests on and no body cams turned on.
Nope. No body cams. So it would have been really easy to tell what happens if someone had turned their body cam on. So how did we get here?
And and this is the whole thing too. We've talked about this so many times. And this has happened so many times here in Oklahoma. Where body cams are on the person, but not turned on.
But not turned on, yeah.
And everything. And so it's like, what are you hiding?
Why do you not have that?
Why do you not? It's a state-issued piece of equipment
to protect you.
And it's to cover your ass.
Yes.
It's to cover your ass because of everything that's happening in the world with cops and everything else. Those body cams are to protect you.
Everybody.
It's basically cover your ass if you say this is how it happened, not this way.
And the problem is, if you're not doing things the way it's supposed to be done, you don't want people to see that.
Yes.
So not turning it on, it makes you look guilty automatically.
Yeah. And the way it looks here, it's like, oh, well, 7 cops' word against 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's still, where's the video?
Yeah. I guess they figured they didn't need that.
Yeah.
So now I've told you Kenneth Walker's account. He is Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. He lived with her in her apartment where this went down. And now I'll tell you the cops' version of events. The LMPS, that's the, here we go, Louisville. I've been told many ways to say this word. But it's the Louisville Metro Police Department. They were after Breonna's ex, Jamarcus Glover, and his associate, Adrian Walker. They were suspected of being drug dealers. Now, Jamarcus and Breonna had an on-again, off-again relationship starting back in 2016, but that was over, and she was with Kenneth Walker now. But it seemed that Breonna helped him by paying bills, and he had a package delivered to her apartment. Some speculate that's because there's no honor amongst thieves, and that stands for most criminal activity. But if he was running drugs out of his house, maybe he didn't want to leave his packages outside all day for someone to be able to steal. Porch pirates are out in the wild. But for whatever reason, he had a package delivered to her apartment. Since the cops had Jamarcus under heavy surveillance, they figured these packages he picked up from Breonna had to be drug related. So 2 cops had some 5 search warrants drawn up, and one was a no-knock warrant for Breonna's apartment, and they had Judge Mary Shaw sign them. They said a postal inspector verified that Jamarcus was receiving suspicious packages at the apartment, and through their experience and training, they knew it was not uncommon for drug traffickers to receive packages at different locations to avoid detection. True. And that Jamarcus may be keeping narcotics and or proceeds from the sale of narcotics at the apartment. They cited one time in January that he left her apartment with a package.
So basically, because he picked up a package up there once, they were able to get a no-knock warrant for her place.
Yes.
Because he went and got his Amazon package.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Went
it.
and got his Temu.
He probably ordered that 6 months ago. Yes. So
Sorry.
the no-knock warrant is where
They'll probably be like, you can't say that on here. You can't say our names.
we are not affiliated with
We're not
Temu.
affiliated with Temu or Amazon because, we don't have sponsors.
Not yet. So a no-knock, like I said, is where you don't have to knock. They just bust in your place and surprise you so you don't have time to run or react. On March 12th into the 13th of 2020, they execute the warrants. They go to Jamarcus's place, and we see body cam footage showing everything went smoothly. Jamarcus is arrested because they do find drugs, and he is taken into custody. Another group, the 7 cops, are 10 miles away at Breonna's apartment. They pile into the little breezeway. Coming along the building, they can see a little flicker of the TV in the bedroom window because she's got a first floor apartment, and Breonna's bedroom is in the back of that apartment. Their intel at the time was that she lived alone. So if you see the little flicker in the back bedroom, you have to assume that she's back there. Her front door is the opposite direction under the stairs. So they line up there as best they can. Now, Sergeant John Mattingly is at the door. He bangs on the door with an open hand, but doesn't say anything. And this is common. It is to try to get the person to come to the door calmly and then let them search. That way there's no incident. But it is the door to the apartment directly above Breonna's that opens and a man steps out. He had just got off work and was there to pick up his daughter from the babysitter. Sergeant Brett Hankinson is by the staircase and pointed his gun at the man, telling him to go back into the apartment. But this starts an argument. Maybe he didn't know they were cops?
Or maybe he just didn't give a shit.
I'm thinking he didn't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean,
who argues with an armed cop?
Damn right.
This guy does.
Well, I mean, it was 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's 1 a.m.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of them deals where it's like, come on.
Exactly. And they came up silent, because they're trying not to alert anybody. So all this guy knows is you can hear doot, 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 doot downstairs. And he's like, y'all's going to wake up my girl.
Yep.
And so he goes out there and tells him to shut the hell up.
Yeah. Basically, he's like, hey, keep the fuck down.
Like, get back in your apartment, pointing
I got
guns at him.
I got a kid in here.
Yeah. Yeah. You protect your kids, not them. So Mattingly said that Hankinson was a little worked up. So he told him to relax and just drop it because they're literally having an argument back and forth. The man went back into the apartment, but came out one more time to say something he forgot to say the first time. And then he went back in again. Mattingly said the first 2 knocks on the door, he didn't say anything. But the third time, they announced themselves. Detective Nobles said he told Mattingly that he could hear her inside talking about Breonna. 45 seconds after that third knock, they used a battering ram on the door at the order of Lieutenant Hoover. Mattingly went through the door, which is a no-no. They call that the fatal funnel. You're exposed in that doorway with nowhere to go. So they train you to not do that. Mattingly said he could see down the hallway and saw 2 people, a male and a female, side by side, shoulder to shoulder. The male, Kenneth, had arms extended straight out, not low, when he shot. Now, this shot allegedly hit Mattingly in the thigh, hitting his femoral artery. Mattingly got off 4 shots immediately, and then 2 more as he was falling. Detective Miles Cosgrove moves into the doorway, stepping on Mattingly in the process. He described the scene at the time as seeing white, vivid, bright light, and blackness, so muzzle flashes in the dark. In this pause in shooting is when Hankinson takes off down the side of the building. Through the curtains and the blinds, he says he sees muzzle flashes. So he shoots 5 shots through the window and 5 shots through a sliding glass door. At the same time, Cosgrove is still at the front door, firing. He would go on to say, "I don't hear any gunfire at all, ever. I do not have any hand sensation or any recollection that I'm firing. If you told me I didn't fire a gun, I would be like, okay, I believe you." But he did fire a gun. He emptied his clip, 16 rounds, one of which was verified to be the fatal shot to Breonna.
So how many times was she shot?
The autopsy report shows 5 gunshot wounds, and then a projectile was recovered from the right heel. So you'll see a lot of reports saying she was shot 5 or 6 times.
There were 32 shots fired by the cops.
32.
They was basically just shooting all over the damn place.
All over the place. Like you could see the projection, like when they did rendering of what happened or whatever, the little mock-up. Yeah. You just see little lines going everywhere.
That's crazy. So they just went in there. They basically just went in wild. I mean, basically, yeah. I mean, he was, whenever they came through the door, he didn't know what the fuck was going on. So he fired.
Yep.
And then they just went buck wild in there.
Yeah.
And then ended up killing Breonna.
Yeah. And only 3 out of the 7 cops shot. Because if you think about it, if any of the others would have shot from behind, they would have hit one of the other cops. Yeah. So only Mattingly, the guy who got shot and fell down, Cosgrove, the guy who took his spot and emptied his clip, and Hankinson, who went around the side of the building, they're the only 3 that even fired the weapon.
And he was shooting through the window, wasn't he?
Through the window and the wall.
At the muzzle shot.
Flashes,
yeah. I remember y'all saying that.
So bullets went through the kitchen cabinets and into pots, into the stove, into chairs in the living room. There was a bullet hole reportedly in every room of that apartment, including the bathroom. 2 bullets went through the ceiling and into the apartment where the man was picking up his daughter from the babysitter. Sounds like the 2 shots that Mattingly got off on his way down, maybe.
And nobody up in the above apartments got hurt or anything?
No. Luckily, no one got hurt.
That's good.
Now, the bullets from Hankinson, who, remember, was shooting from the side, went into the apartment that shared a wall with Breonna on the other side, the other first floor apartment. Inside that apartment was a man, pregnant woman, and a 5-year-old child.
See, I don't understand. See, usually whenever they do these clears and stuff like that, like whenever they're going to clear an apartment, they would usually send cops to the apartments above, around, and clear them out before they execute a warrant.
Why would they do that?
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Usually that's what they would do.
At 1 a.m?
Yeah.
That's wild. Why are you raiding at 1 a.m?
It's more of a safety in case of this. You know what I mean?
Now you're just speaking sense. Stop it.
That's why it don't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. So luckily, in that other apartment with the man, the pregnant woman, and the 5-year-old, luckily nobody was shot there either. It was close because he heard the noises, got up, and was going to check his apartment. And next thing he knows, a bullet comes flying by his head. So that could have ended badly too.
Yeah. I mean, the only time they wouldn't clear something to get ready for a warrant is if they thought that they was flushing evidence or getting rid of, disposing of evidence or anything like that. But
well, you can quietly tell somebody's neighbor to leave.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can go up, knock on the door, and be like, hey, we need y'all to,
this could possibly be a dangerous situation.
Get your family out.
Doesn't sound like they wanted to get out anyway if that guy came out on top and was like, shut the hell up.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there should have been
a lot of things done.
Yeah.
But also luckily, Breonna's sister, who lived with her, was not home at the time either. Because this was utter chaos. Patrol was called in by Hankinson, and he told dispatch to have them respond with long rifles. He said in trial that they thought they were being shot at from an AR-15.
Oh, the AR-15.
Now let's blame the AR-15.
But Kenneth had a 9mm, and only shot one time, according to him.
No AR-15 was found anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'd never found one.
Kenneth shot one time, but they were supposedly, and that was the first shot fired.
Yeah.
He never shot again.
Basically, he shot it was more like a warning shot.
That's what he says. Yeah, it was a warning shot. I aimed low. He doesn't even, we'll get into it.
Which is one thing my dad always said. You know, if somebody is breaking into your house, you fire a warning shot, and then if they continue, game over.
Right, because the only thing I have in my house worth killing for are you guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Basically.
So I'm going to warn you, listen, I'm here. My family's here.
I'm here. I'm
if
locked
you don't
and loaded.
fucking leave,
yep.
I have no choice but to take that as a threat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically, it's like warning shot, and if they continue to come, you had your warning. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you know what? And he always says less paperwork for the police.
Cop talk.
I'm just saying.
Goodness. Okay. So they thought they had this AR-15. So SWAT was called in. They get there after the shooting and after patrol. And when they got there, they said there was some 40 cop cars already in the parking lot. Kenneth is out of the apartment and on the body cam because they wear body cams, all the other cops, and turn them on.
Oh, now they turn them on.
Well, no, not the 7. These are the other cops that have showed up. Yeah.
Oh, this was the SWAT.
This was SWAT.
Well,
and
of course.
They had also called in patrol. So there's several regular officers there too.
Yeah.
And they've all got the cams on.
They're probably like, man, I don't know part of this.
SWAT was like, this is fucked up.
I'd like cover my ass here.
Yeah, we'll talk about SWAT in a second. So, like I said, on the body cam, you can see Kenneth walking backwards, arms out. He's coming back to them, and a cop asks him, have you been hit with a bullet? And Kenneth says, no. The cop then says, that's unfortunate. It's shit like that. Those comments. Really? He didn't have any idea what actually happened in that apartment. Are you kidding me right now? Like when they say shit like that, it just pisses me off.
Yeah. I mean, it was uncalled for.
He's being cooperative. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know what just happened.
And was that on body cam?
Oh, yeah. That's how I saw it.
Good Lord.
Yeah. I saw that on body cam. It's the only time I ever saw it.
That cop right there should have been fired.
You have to, how do you expect your community to trust you and to trust that you have their best interest?
And that's what I'm saying. It makes it harder for people to trust a police officer. And that's what and I've said it a lot of times. Policemen today are not like what they was like when I was a kid. Whenever I grew up, my dad was a cop, and just all of his friends and everything, they was different.
Yeah.
They didn't have the fucking big head because they had the badge and everything else. They knew that they had to serve and protect. They knew what their job was. They knew that they needed to be there for the people and everything.
And there's still some out there that do that.
And there is still some out there. And there's, I just seen one of our friends, his son just became Wagner County.
Really?
The other day, yeah. And I was like, I would have never thought it, but I'm happy for him. And I hope that he's one of them cops that are going to be, he's going to be a good one. I think he really was, because knowing him as a kid growing up, he was always a really good kid.
I need to know who this is.
No, I'll let you know.
Okay.
But
I'll get on the Facebook.
I don't want to put his name on the on blast.
No,
and everything.
No, later. Tell me later.
But I think he's going to be a really good cop, and I don't think he's going to be that cop that has a big head.
We need good cops.
So we need more like that. We need more of the old school.
Yeah.
Policing.
The ones who give a shit.
Yeah.
About the people that they're serving.
Yeah.
So as he's walking backwards, they're yelling at him. The dogs are barking, and they're threatening to release the dogs. And you hear Kenneth say, I'm scared. Well, I would be too, Kenneth. But the cop says, you're scared. Right. Ooh. Kenneth asks what's going on. Remember, he has no idea, according to him. And he's told that he's going to fucking prison. That's what's going on. None of the original, like we said, 7 body cams were on. Now, 2 of them had body cams on their vests. You see that in the pictures taken of the cops that night. They're just not turned on. One of them said it's not procedure to have them on in these instances. I'd want them bitches on in every instance. But the other cops on the scene did have those body cams. So you hear things like, there may be a victim inside. I mean, they are there to search the house that they think only Breonna lives in. But nobody noticed that they have Kenneth in cuffs? No Breonna? Come on. 20 minutes after the shooting, you hear a cop talking to Kenneth asking, there's someone in there dead? And he says, yeah, my girlfriend, it's her house.
And you said they had an ambulance there, but they sent them away before they even did the raid.
Yeah, they did.
Why would they have an ambulance there?
It's common. So it's common to have an ambulance on standby in case things go sideways.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true.
But they keep them out of the line of danger. So close so that cops, bystanders, suspects, anyone that gets hurt can get help immediately. But
that's true.
Out of range so they don't get hurt.
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah. They have to be, they'll be within a couple blocks.
Very close. Yeah. But about an hour before this raid, they sent the emergency responders away. So now they had to call them back. So it was reportedly 30 minutes after the shooting before EMS was able to check on Breonna. But it came out later that she would have been gone pretty quickly after that fatal shot. So there would have been no help for her. As the cops look around, you see the moment that one of them spots Breonna's uniform hanging in her apartment. She was an emergency room technician. But I've seen her in her uniform, and it literally looks like a cop uniform, like a patrol. She got the blue shirt, the black pants. The SWAT, like we said, was suspicious from the jump. As they debrief at the scene, you can see body cam of one of them walking up to a group and was instructed, cameras off. Before he turns his off, you hear, this is the fucking one they said they didn't need us to do. Huh? Explain, please, sir. Did SWAT offer? Or were they originally supposed to do the raid at the apartment and they were waved off, being told that they didn't need to do that one? He sounded a little pissed too, but I don't have regular conversations with him, so I don't know if that's just how he talks normally or if he was feeling some type of way about how this went down, which is what I lead towards. And let's get to the aftermath and what we know now or don't know.
Like Kenneth getting arrested?
Like Kenneth getting arrested.
I mean, the way you're saying it, like the SWAT was like, oh, this is the one we got told that we didn't
need to do
or whatever. And then, the cops went in plain clothes with vests. It almost sounds like dirty cops.
It sounds like dirty business.
It's like dirty cops. Like they was going to go in there
and sent the ambulance away.
Yeah, they're going to go in there. They're going to basically hem them up and take all their stuff, take their money, and they're going to get a payday. That's what it almost sounds like.
It almost does. Yeah, you could lean that way for sure.
I mean,
it looks very suspicious. Lord. Now, Kenneth was charged with first-degree assault and attempted murder of a police officer.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. You guys, he was within his rights.
He was in his house. He had a legal firearm. Anyways, we'll get into it. The incident report filed by the police said Breonna had no injuries and that no forced entry occurred. What? Like nobody would notice?
Was the gun registered to him?
Yes. Did he have a permit? Yes.
I mean, come on. He was within his rights.
Yes, I agree. But did you hear what I just said?
What?
The incident report filed by the police, all of their reports, said Breonna had no injuries and that no forced entry occurred.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Like nobody would notice that they busted that door down. The battering ram was literally laying next to it. Breonna had 6 bullet holes in her.
Breonna had no injury. She's dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they reported she had no injuries. So they're dumb too.
And that's why all these people are coming out now, like the shirts and everything.
Not now. This was happening then.
Yeah.
As soon as this story came out, it started.
Well, yeah. I mean, but celebrities and stuff were wearing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the main 3 were put on administrative reassignment pending an investigation because those reports did not match the scene or the autopsy. Fucking duh. So the Internal Professional Integrity Unit started investigating. About a month after the shooting, when no one was fired, no one had been arrested in Breonna's death. It looked like this was going to be swept under the rug. Now, keep in mind, too, that this happened 2 weeks after George Floyd died. So tensions were high when this group of all-white cops killed a black woman in her own apartment in the middle of the night. International protesting started. Arguments started between people who believed the police were justified in defending themselves when they were shot at.
So wait a minute, this happened 2 weeks after George Floyd?
2 weeks. They both look racially charged.
And please don't take any offense to anything I say, because like I said, a lot of this stuff I don't know. And as far as like the stories and stuff like that, but I'm just kind of giving my opinion.
Plus, this was right at COVID, so
yeah.
Arguments started between people who believed the police were justified and people who felt a little differently about that. Oprah's O magazine, which has her face on the cover for the last 20 years, now comes out with Breonna's face on it. The Memphis Grizzlies basketball team showed up to the arena for a game, all wearing shirts with Breonna's name and the hashtag Say Her Name. At the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton took the podium wearing a t-shirt that said, "Arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor." Actress Regina King accepted an award at the Grammys, wearing a shirt with a picture of Breonna and Say Her Name. The list could go on and on.
Well, you know, people are demanding answers.
You're damn right.
And they should.
Damn right.
I mean, you can't sit there and have a report saying no injuries and no destruction to the property or anything like that.
No forced entry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same thing.
Yeah.
But you just can't say that whenever there's a death.
I guess they didn't learn about evidence at school.
Good Lord. Yeah, especially, in the academy.
Yeah, they missed that day.
There's a lot of fucking evidence.
A lot of evidence.
There's a big piece of fucking evidence there. You know, that's the body.
The body. Yeah. So things just didn't add up. So Mattingly, this guy, he even did an interview with ABC News in October of 2020 and one with the Louisville Courier-Journal. I'm trying, y'all.
So this is where we get into the, how do you pronounce it? So a lot of people say Louisville.
Louisville.
Other people say Louisville.
Yeah, because there's an S in there.
And then there's, locals that say Louisville.
Louisville. That's how they say it, but we're not from there. I don't have a Kentucky accent, so it sounds weird.
So we say Louisville because, we grew up with like the Louisville Sluggers.
Yeah, everything's Louisville.
Stuff like that. But,
so that's how I'm going to say it. It's going to come out that way naturally.
And I bring it back to the Kansas town where I called it
El Dorado.
I called it El Dorado, and the guy was like, "It's El Dorado. It's not a Disney movie." El Dorado, not El Dorado. I'm like, fuck off.
My bad. I'm not from here. Yeah, I don't know. He came out on these interviews saying that city officials had not come to his and his other officers' defense in this incident. I wonder why. He wrote a book 2 years after Breonna's death, saying they had trackers on his car, talking about Jamarcus, pings on his phone. They knew where he was. And that is why that warrant changed from a no-knock warrant to a knock and announce warrant. He went on to say, obviously, we didn't know Kenneth Walker was there. We were never told her sister and baby lived there. So there were some failures on that part of it that could have been better. Like maybe have better intel before you bust in somebody's apartment.
I mean, it's just lucky that her sister and baby wasn't there at the time.
Very lucky, because their bedroom was actually between where the cops were and where Breonna was. So they definitely, there was bullet holes in that room. They could have been injured.
Yeah.
On May 29th of 2020, Mayor Greg Fisher suspended the use of no-knock warrants in Louisville. On June 11th, the Louisville Metro Council passed Breonna's law banning them altogether. And about a year later, State Bill 4 was signed in to ban those no-knock warrants statewide. Great, because they're fucking dangerous.
But didn't they say that it changed from a no-knock to a knock and announce warrant?
Yeah, and I question that too, because they said knock and announce. So if the state believed that's what they did, then why ban no-knock warrants? That's not how they executed this one.
Huh.
But that's what they focused on. So,
well, how did they change it all of a sudden?
Oh, they can.
I mean, did the judge or whatever call up and be like, "Hey, this is a knock and announce now"?
I don't think the judge did it, but I think the higher ups was like, "We know where Jamarcus is. Why are you trying to no-knock into Breonna's apartment?"
Oh.
And so they're like, "Oh, okay, I guess we'll just do it as it is." I don't know how it works, but I'm hoping that this case sheds some light on how dangerous of a situation no-knock warrants put everybody involved in. So maybe that's why they just banned them all together. Jamarcus was in custody when the shit went down at the apartment. So he says he heard things coming over the radio. He didn't know what was going on either. And then when he's in custody, he's in there in handcuffs and he can hear all of this radio chatter, giving Breonna's address, talking about there being a shooting. He's freaking out. He was adamant that Breonna wasn't in the dope game, that she was innocent. He did use her address and phone number on bank records and stuff. She held money for him sometimes and paid bills for him, but she didn't know for sure where the money came from. I don't know about all that, but he said in one jailhouse phone call to an unidentified man, she had the 8 I gave her the other day, and she picked up another 6. Now, you would think that would mean money, right? No drugs or money was found in the apartment, though. In another call, he said, Bree been having all my money, though, like she been hanging on to my money. And he told his sister that a different woman had been keeping the group's money. Is her name Bree? Because Breonna either had a really good hiding place for it or she didn't have it. Or you also have to take maybe the less likely thing that it wasn't reported if it was found, because we see that all the time.
Yeah, we know that, sometimes things go missing.
Air bunnies missing.
From the crime scene. But if they could show that they found that $14,000,
it would only help them.
It'd help their case.
Yeah, because then they'd be like, look, we found money here. We were right.
Exactly.
But the fact that they found nothing in there.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I just think this was corrupt.
Exactly. And the findings in the internal investigation of the shooting were turned over to the Attorney General. The mayor also had the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office review it too in May of 2020. 11 of the neighbors said that they never heard police announcing themselves that night, even though Mattingly told Good Morning America that the first knock was the only one that they didn't announce on. But the next 5 were bangs, and they announced each time, saying he yelled police, search warrant 3 times with each bang on the door. He said all 7 were yelling when they rammed the door. So now it went from they banged on the door 3 times to they banged on the door 6 times. Regarding that warrant, let's talk about the warrant that got them there. Joshua James said that a postal worker verified suspicious packages were being delivered to Breonna's apartment, and Kelly Goodlett knew that was a lie. The postal inspector told them that there was nothing suspicious, but she went along with the lie anyway, right along with Sergeant Kyle Meany, who signed off on the warrant. Then they made sure to get it signed by Judge Mary Shaw in particular, because she was known for signing without really questioning much.
No questions asked.
Nope, no question. Apparently she was known for that. That was her thing.
So whenever they executed the warrant, how long did they have in that apartment before anybody showed up?
According to Mattingly, or not Mattingly, but Hankinson, who shot from the side, I'm pretty sure his testimony was that he called patrol, or was ordered to call patrol right after the shooting stopped. So they didn't go into the apartment, according to them, because there was a threat in there that was shooting at them, right? So the shooting stops, and they kind of back up to safety and call in patrol and SWAT, according to them.
I'm just wondering if they had enough time to look for money.
Well, I don't know how long it was before somebody else arrived on scene, but I know it was 30 minutes from the time of the shooting until Breonna was looked at by EMS.
Yeah.
So all that happened. They got Kenneth out. They got all that happened in 30 minutes. Now, by early June, the mayor requested Hankinson be removed from the Louisville Police Merit Board. June 19th, the interim police chief started the process of termination. They said Hankinson violated department policies on the use of deadly force by wantonly and blindly firing into Breonna's apartment without determining whether any person presented an immediate threat or whether there was any innocent person present. Seems he had a disciplinary record for reckless conduct already. He was officially fired 4 days later, on June 23rd. 3 months to the day later, he was indicted by a state grand jury for shooting through the windows and sliding glass door, and the bullets going all the way into the neighboring apartment with the pregnant woman, man, and 5-year-old. Jurors had questions on how this all went down. Some wanted to explore other charges, like homicide. But the panel was steered away from considering homicide charges and left in the dark about self-defense laws during deliberations. Attorney General Cameron told everyone that the grand jury agreed the officers were justified in returning fire after Kenneth shot at them first. One of the jurors actually said the police covered it up. That's what the evidence that I saw led me to conclude, and I felt that there should have been lots more charges on them. That's what a juror said. So the Attorney General's like, they said we're great. Cops did great. No questions, no problems. The jury's like, that's not what I said. But on March 3rd of 2022, jurors did acquit Hankinson on all 3 counts.
The feds still have the case, though.
Yeah, so the FBI, he had called in them to do their own little investigation.
Well, hopefully the feds will fucking dig into this and it's been a while, so.
We're not at the end yet.
I know. Hopefully they can dig through the crime photos and stuff like that.
I'm sure outside agencies like them look at stuff like this and they go, what the hell are we supposed to do with this?
That's the whole thing. I mean, when this right here happened, them guys shouldn't have been even in there after the shooting and stuff like that. They shouldn't even been in there investigating nothing.
The 7 that were, they weren't. These were other people. I mean, they had to file their reports.
Yeah.
And then they took pictures of the 3 that actually fired their weapons. So that's why we can see the body cams literally on their vests, like clipped to them.
Yeah.
So that's why we know they had them. But yeah, they're not allowed to.
I'm telling you, this is just a dirty.
This
is a dirty fucking deal.
Dirty. And the neighbors in the first floor apartment filed their own lawsuit for depriving them of their rights. But Hankinson was found not guilty there too. This was another part of the case that caused problems. Why didn't they try to charge Mattingly for shooting into the living room of the upstairs apartment? That could have killed someone. And some say it's because all of these cops were white, the first floor neighbors were white, so they got more concerned because the upstairs neighbors were black. And some say it's because Hankinson made the conscious choice to shoot wildly with recklessness sideways into the apartment, while Mattingly was shooting as he was going down after being shot, so he didn't make the choice to shoot up, his body did. He did make the choice to keep shooting as he went down though, so believe what you want on that one. And speaking of Mattingly, in October of 2020, he filed a lawsuit against Kenneth for shooting him. His lawyer said that he was entitled to and should use the legal process to seek a remedy for the injury that Kenneth caused. Mattingly had to have a 5-hour surgery because that bullet severed his femoral artery, also alleging assault and battery and emotional distress on top of that. The suit was voluntarily dismissed in May of 2023, though. Some of the argued issues with this part of the case was Mattingly was in the fatal funnel, where Kenneth shot at him with a 9mm handgun, hitting him in the thigh and severing that artery, right? That it had come from Kenneth's gun because he had a 9mm while all the other cops had .40 caliber guns. But Kenneth's lawyer pointed out that there was no blood in the doorway, no blood on the 9mm bullet that they recovered at the scene. And Kenneth used hollow points, which would have caused a lot more damage if it was the bullet that hit Mattingly. Another lawyer said that LMPD records show Hankinson actually had a 9mm and 2 .40 caliber service weapons, saying that it had been difficult to determine exactly which weapons that Hankinson had on him that night at the shooting because he disappeared and was unaccompanied for several hours
what the fuck?
After the shooting.
Good Lord.
Now, testing on Kenneth's gun and the 9mm showed that they could not determine whether or not Kenneth's gun is the one that shot Mattingly.
You know, every gun has its own fingerprint.
Has its own striations, its own thing. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It has its own fingerprint.
Mm-hmm.
So when you shoot it, it carves out its own little print onto the bullet. It does its own little pin indentation. It does it does all kinds of stuff. It is
a fingerprint.
It's a miraculous little fucking discovery that they figured out.
Yes.
And that's how they match bullets to gun barrels.
Yep.
Fuck off. Whatever.
Hey, why are you telling them to fuck off?
Because you can't tell me that they couldn't match those guns. Not telling you to fuck off.
I know. That's not the face I'm making. I'm so offended.
I'm just saying, you can't tell me that they couldn't take Hankinson's and Keith's gun and go and try to ballistic match.
They could have, but they never did.
They never did it. So
that's
here,
the problem.
if your guys are listening out there and the feds or whatever, you know,
feds, if you're listening, FBI.
If you're listening and you guys are doing this case, get the guns and test them.
Where is Hankinson's 9mm?
And see if you guys can match up the bullets.
Is it that hard?
No, it's not. I mean, they do it. I mean, yeah, it takes a few weeks to get back the results.
It's been years.
But they do it.
They could have done it 1,000,000 times since then.
They can get pretty fucking close on it. They can damn near do, I mean, I don't know.
He had a 9mm service weapon, meaning they have record of that gun. They know he has it. And are you trying to tell me that these cops go into a raid without a backup weapon?
And there's a lot of people that talk about drop guns and everything else.
Hello. What case did we do where the cop's gun disappeared, but they found out he threw it in the river? And
that was the woman.
Oh, the woman.
The woman cop.
Yeah. And she was like, oh, it got stolen out of my car.
Yeah. And she threw it in the ocean.
And it was actually in the ocean. Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
That don't ever happen.
It's drop guns. I mean, that's a drop gun or whatever. It's like you do that and then like, oh shit, I fucked up. Drop
that gun. You're damn right.
Fingerprints are on them. Oh.
And we also need to talk.
They did it.
1, 2, 3, not it. You're it. So let's talk about the 3 cops who falsified information to get the warrant to begin with. They are not in the clear. The U.S. Department of Justice indicted them finally on August 4th of 2022 for conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and civil rights violations for misleading the judge to get it signed. Hankinson was also charged for civil rights violations here too. Kelly Goodlett pled guilty. Her sentencing is set for April 29th of 2025. Word around the prison yard is that she will possibly be testifying against the other 2.
First to talk, first to walk.
Right? But that is pure speculation, so don't come at me. Maybe she just feels bad about what a shit show this ended up being. Joshua.
No, but she's absolutely right. If she fucking comes out and says something.
She's the only one who pled guilty in this.
That's the whole thing. She can plead guilty and get a lesser sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called a plea deal.
Yeah. But she'll get kind of a, what do they call it? Sweetheart deal.
She'll get that sweetheart deal.
She'll get a sweetheart deal. So.
But wait till I finish this, though. Does she really need one? Joshua Janes and Kyle Meany pled not guilty, of course. The judge dismissed 2 felony charges for using a dangerous weapon to deprive Breonna of her Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Taking out that dangerous weapon part drops those down to a misdemeanor. The court said it was Kenneth's actions that led to Breonna's death. Sir, respectfully, the cops wouldn't even have been at the apartment if it wasn't for that warrant that they lied to get. If they had probable cause, actual probable cause, they wouldn't have had to lie, meaning that they had no legal right to go bust that door down in the middle of the night. You're supposed to be the smartest one in the room, so get your head out of your ass.
Exactly.
So now they get a slap on the wrist, basically. They are pending trial dates, so we don't know when they're going to court, but they are looking at no more than a year in prison. So if she's getting a sweetheart deal, that means she'd have to walk completely because a year in prison is nothing when you don't have to serve full time. James does still have his charge for conspiracy to cover up the false warrant and falsifying a document to mislead investigators. So he still has a little extra to go on him.
All right, so tell him about numbnuts.
I think that means Hankinson.
Yep.
So he went to trial in October of 2023. He pled, drumroll please, not guilty. The jury was unable to reach a verdict, so they declared a mistrial on November 16th. Charges were refiled in December, and he just had the trial on that. So this is the part where I'm saying that nobody's covering this right now, even though he literally just got convicted. When asked what he was aiming at through the window, he said, the threat.
The threat.
Yes. He was aiming at the muzzle flashes. But remember, we've already talked about this several times. Kenneth fired one shot, the first shot, and never fired again. And when he fired that shot, Hankinson was still at the front entrance of the apartment. Nothing happened while he was on the side of the apartment. There would have been no muzzle flashes coming from where Kenneth and Breonna were when he was on the side of that building. On November 1st of this year, so just the other day, he was found guilty of depriving Breonna of her rights, and sentencing is scheduled for March 12th of 2025. And let's not forget that Kenneth was arrested that night.
For attempted murder of a police officer.
Right.
For protecting his home.
Right. Now, he was released for COVID concerns, because remember, this is at COVID, right when COVID was getting big. So he was released for COVID concerns and put on house arrest. But by late May of 2020, all his charges were dismissed without prejudice. What that means is that should something else come up, he could be charged again.
And see, that's just bullshit. Because, I mean,
yeah,
like I've said, the whole damn story, he was protecting his property.
Right.
He had every right. He didn't know what the fuck was going on. I don't believe that those cops announced themselves.
Most people do not when you've got 11 neighbors going, they didn't say shit.
You got neighbors right up above them. Because if you live in an apartment, those floors, those walls, they're not that fucking thick. You can hear everything. My daughter lives in an apartment and you can hear it. Hell, my son-in-law, love him to death.
Stop, don't out him right now.
He'll sit there and he does this little massager thing up on he like leaves the fans on because they make this little tick, 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 and it drives the neighbor nuts and everything.
Listen, this is retaliation, not provocation.
It's so funny and I love him for it because I would do the same thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying I love him for it because it's just awesome. I would probably do the same thing because
he started it.
Yeah.
He's trying to show them, hey, this is really annoying.
Exactly.
I'll show you what annoying is. This can be annoying. So when they start in, he starts in.
Yeah. And this guy just has constantly gave them shit and everything. He's like, okay.
What about this?
Game on. You know? And that's what I'm saying. It's just, but that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is that it's the littlest things. You can't tell me that nobody heard it up there. That means they did not fucking hear it.
If they open hand, knock, 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 banged on the door and the guy upstairs was like, shut the fuck up.
My daughter's asleep.
You would hear people yelling.
Yes.
If 7 people are yelling, police, search warrant, you're going to hear that shit.
Yeah. And what type of apartments were these?
Just standard
Just standard apartments?
Apartments, yeah.
I mean,
nothing fancy.
Yeah.
Just standard apartments.
Okay. I mean, it's just.
There's like four in a building, I think.
4.
So you got 2. No, more than that.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Apartments are built cheap and.
Oh, yeah. These were, yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing expensive about an apartment. They're thrown up because.
Yeah.
They're cheap.
And they're not,
And
they weren't
make the
bad
most money.
apartments. Her apartment was actually pretty nice looking.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So if you have 11 tenants
Right there.
saying, I never heard anybody
Right.
announce, that means Kenneth never heard anybody announcing in his own home
Yep.
where it's all happening.
Yep.
That means whenever he heard commotion, he went into protection mode,
100%.
which is his full rights.
Yes. I will throw in here that the guy upstairs that got into an argument with the cops, there was a thing where he said, I heard nothing. They didn't announce. And then a couple months later, he said, oh yeah, I heard them say it's the cops. And then he said, no, that's not how it went. You know, and so there is a little discrepancy in his, but he's the only one.
He probably said, I didn't hear him announce, and then came back and said,
I knew they were cops.
I heard him knocking on the door and I got in a fucking argument with him.
Yeah, so you don't know, we don't know exactly. But when you have 11 other people versus that one who kind of changed the story a little bit, okay, I'm going to listen to those 11 people.
That's where I would be at. That would be more believable than him saying, I didn't hear him. Oh, yeah, I did hear him say they're cops. No, I believe that he heard them knock and he went out there and was like, hey, shut the fuck up. My daughter's in here asleep. And then he seen that they was cops.
Because they were pointing a gun at him.
Yeah, because exactly. Somebody points a gun at me, I automatically go in fucking defense mode, and I'm pissed.
He did. He kept arguing.
Yeah, I will argue with that fucker and everything else. I mean, it's just.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So on June 16th, his lawyer, Kenneth's lawyer, filed a motion to permanently dismiss so that no new, air bunnies here, evidence could magically appear somehow. So on March 8th of 2021, they dismissed Kenneth's case with prejudice because Kentucky has the stand your ground law.
Damn right.
So Kenneth was covered by that. In September of 2020.
And most states have that.
A lot of states
There's
do.
a lot of states that have the stand your ground law. And they have make my day or whatever, which is, it's a little there's a little bit of border on that one. But stand my ground law, that's like the most common law.
Standard, yeah.
It's a standard law. And it's basically, you can protect your property. You can protect your family. You can protect anything that is going to affect you in your life.
Anything that can cause harm.
Yep.
Damage. You don't know. Oh, anyways. In September of 2020, Kenneth had filed a lawsuit against the Louisville Metro Police Department. He settled in 2022 for $2 million.
Oh, well, he's set.
Hopefully. Breonna's family also filed a wrongful death suit on May 15th. In September of 2020, the Louisville Metro government agreed to pay $12 million to Breonna's estate, but they admit no liability or wrongdoing, and this also prevents them from suing the city.
Really?
Yeah.
But they got $12 million?
They did. It was the largest payout in a wrongful death suit in Kentucky.
I mean, it sucks, but it's good. I mean, at least they got something, but it
doesn't bring Breonna back.
They don't bring Breonna back. But at least they can, raise her, niece or nephew or whatever, the baby.
Yeah, the babies.
Maybe it can help.
She still has family. Yeah, she still has people.
Maybe it can help them go to college. Maybe help them, get a better life and stuff and do something.
They'll do some good with that, I think. And so that's where we are. Waiting for sentencing of Hankinson and Goodlett. Waiting for the trial of the other two who lied to get the warrant. And the judge that signed without question, well, she lost re-election and retired, so she's done. She's done. But it looks like that's all that's going to happen in this case until the charges come out. And no one, let me reiterate this, no one has been charged for Breonna's death.
Which is stupid. Somebody needs to.
Yeah.
But anyway, this one right here, boy, it went
Can you
quite
tell?
a bit longer. Yeah, this one.
Because we get worked up.
We get a little worked up on these.
This was a lot more animated when we were drinking in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, no, and I told them they're going to come in on an episode and everything because it's going to be a good one. I might try to do a live.
We're going to have to do like a drunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because opinions.
Not a drunk.
Yeah, I think we do.
We might be drinking, but we ain't going to do a drunk one.
By the end, I'm going to be drunk.
Yeah, by the end of it. But anyway, that's the end of this one. Hopefully you guys like it. And don't forget to, like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends. Tell everybody that you know. We need subscribers. And we need that support, people. Till next time.
Bye.